What's up? How's everybody doing? Just getting started here in a little bit. I'm going to be building navigation components for Tailwind's application UI. If you're just joining, let me know in the chat where you're from. Love to hear it. All right. If you have any questions while I'm going through this, please leave the questions in the chat. I'll try to pay attention and answer them as they come in. Jump into nav bars. We'll go ahead and get started. Start with all of these sections and their iframes ripped using the HTML to design plugin. I search for iframe, I cut them out. So I'm gonna Command R. I'm gonna match iframe space dash. And this is gonna remove iframe from the beginning of all these frames. And notice that updates immediately. And I also want to get rid of preview at the end. So I'll do that again, Command R, preview, that also gets rid of that. I'm gonna lock these layers to make it easier for me to navigate around while I'm in here. I like to Command A to be able to grab everything all at once. Oh. Tab panel. So immediately, this frame has some rounded corners, and if this is a component that I'm eventually going to use in designs and mockups, I want to get rid of all the extra unnecessary layers. You expand this out, you see some body frames, some div frames, some nav frames, some more div frames. Just like to clean that up. So I'm gonna copy that layer name and then just Command Shift G to start ungrouping. I'm gonna do all three of these at the same time. And just keep going until I start to see a significant change. There we go. So now we just got the nav. I'd like to bring back the parent container for that so I can see the context of it being showed and maybe a dashboard. I'm going to Command R, rename to what I copied to my clipboard. Go ahead and rename that. I can now add my space, / space, and then the name of the size of the frame, so 1280. Do the same thing here, but oops, 1023. And lastly, / space 390. Perfect. I'm also, gonna have to get the logo added back in here. For some reason, the plugin doesn't like to rip that SVG. But I'll do that all at once when I get done here. I'm gonna do the same thing that I did in the last three. I'm just gonna rapidly crank through these. Not adding the sizes to them quite yet, just to kind of help me speed up as I go through this. Now I can, the exception of that first one, Command R, current name space / space 1280. Command R, current name space / 1023. And last group, current name space / 390. I'm gonna go get a logo. I know where to find it in the marketing file, so I'm just gonna come in here and drill down until I get that mark.svg frame. Come back to application UI. What kind of container is this? This is 32 height. What happens if I drop that in there? So same exact size, cool. If this is your first time in dark mode, we always have the logo set to Indigo 500. But in light mode, we set it to Indigo 600. I'm gonna go ahead and knock these out. Tricky one. I was expecting it to be in the middle. Change that back to 600. back to 500. Select them all, start adding some color styles. I've already added the hex code into the description for all of my variables in my color variables file. If I look at my local variables, I come to my tailwind colors, open up the settings. You can see I added the description for each of these. So I can easily copy these hex codes, paste them in, and immediately get the value to apply for it, which makes this super easy. Learned this on a stream a few days ago. Give it a check mark and move on. Next up, pagination. If you go to figma.com/@AndyRyanWeir, drop the link in the chat, should be able to duplicate this file so that you can play around with it yourself if that's something that you're interested in. In the meantime, I'm going to keep contributing to it. So you'll see I have iframe already in my search. And so this basically filters just the iframe from my export from the plugin. And so I can easily, holding Shift, select the first one and last one, and just Command X, cut those right out of there. All this other stuff is just metadata and text links for the documentation site, tailwindui.com. I can go ahead and Command A, delete all that. Come back into the application UI, Command V, paste it. Oop. Command Z, undo. I'm just going to paste it here. Go ahead and lock these like I did the last ones. Command A, Command R, match iframe space dash to get rid of the iframe at the front. Command R, preview to get rid of preview on the end. I like to put these at consistent 128 pixels apart. Do the same here. And get that all lined up, matching. I'm going to copy one of these and Command Z until I see a big shift and change. There we go. Command Z to undo, Command R, Command V, and we're in there. Just like that, pagination is done on the tabs. Time to apply color. Tabs. This one's going to be a little tricky because when I pull the iframe out, it's not pulling the actual command palette. Not really sure what's happening here. Looks like all these. Just have to manually pull them out.
We have main engine start. 4, 3, 2, 1, and liftoff. Liftoff from the 25th space shuttle mission, and it has cleared the tower.
This is inherently getting rid of a bunch of unnecessary layers, which is great. I don't think I need anything else from this. So I could probably just get rid of all these. Shit. The only problem is I don't have the names for them. I'm gonna pull them out just to get the names. First one's simple. Alright, now I can get rid of them. I don't want that first one. Just simple, right? There was a few extra colors that I don't have saved yet, so I need to go add those real quick. Gray 900, 40%. And Gray 500, 10 and 20%. So Gray 900, 40%. Gray 500, 10 and 20. Publish that library. What's up, DNL_MGL? What's happening? The Gray 500 20% yet. 25. Put that in order. Copy this, paste that in the description so I'm able to search for them. Republish. Back here, 20% and 10%. Sweet. We are all done with the command palette. Let me know if you have any questions in the chat. Just working through building some components, some Tailwind components. Just got done with navigation. I did nav bars through command palettes in the past hour. Next up is overlays. Those are going to be probably pretty easy, so shouldn't take too long. Elements after that, layout, and then lastly page examples. I'm not going to get through all of this tonight, but we'll keep cranking along. Where are you from, DNL MGL? Very cool. This is a fun side project that I'm working on. I use Tailwind components a lot, and so I'm often rebuilding them over and over and over again. And I wanted to do this for a while to basically build a repository of all these components kind of already designed in Figma so that you can kind of speed up the design process, kind of build a design system of sorts. So I figured it'd be a fun project to do a live stream for. Just see how it goes. I'm publishing the files to the Figma community. If it's something that you're interested in, you can go to my Figma profile, figma.com/@AndyRyanWeir. It's in the chat up above. You can go there, duplicate the file. I'm constantly publishing new versions, so feel free to check back in and see what sort of updates there are to it. I've done marketing and application UI. I'm doing application UI right now. And then the last one will be e-commerce. What do you do for work, DNL? Okay, cool. Very similar, same here. Solo designer at a startup. I started working on this, not this past Friday, but the Friday before. I'll jump into the marketing file real quick and just kind of give you a high level overview. I got all the hero sections, all the page sections, elements, feedback, page examples, These are all done. I might need to publish a new version of this to the community. And then application UI, got application shells, headings, data display, list, forms, feedback, navigation, and that leads us to where we're at with overlays. I do this maybe like an hour or two a day. So I guess probably in the past, I don't know, 8 or 9 days, I've probably spent maybe 10-ish hours on this altogether. Is there a library that you use at your startup? All stock tailwind. I could see this as okay, yeah, cool. Yeah, these are all stock tailwind components. I'm using the HTML to design plugin, going to Tailwind UI, ripping the URL and just kind of plopping that into the plugin, so it kind of speeds up that part of the process and don't have to worry about there being any differences. It's apples to apples. I don't know if you've had any experience working with that plugin, but it's a very cool plugin. I enjoy it. I use it for work a lot too, to pull any sort of screens from our app that might need some slight modifications to, without having to design the entire screen from scratch. How long has the startup been around? Bit buggy sometimes though. Yeah, I hear you. Been around 3 years. I've been there a year and a half. Cool. That's awesome. What's the name of it? That's not that one. July. I'll have to check it out. Thanks. What is it that you're building? What is July? What's the tool do? got out of order. Business management tool for influencer agencies. Started as a tool for creators, went upstream for more volume and money. Nice. I work for a startup called Feather. It's based in Gainesville, Florida. And it's a marketing platform specifically geared towards nonprofits. The company's been around for 10-ish years, but this version of the product has probably only been around for the past few years, and I started there last May, so coming up on a year. I'm guessing you work in Figma too? Yeah. Solo designer. First design hire on the product team, actually. They're a team of maybe like 14, 15 engineers. There's like 4 front-end developers that I work most closely with. But going well overall. Oh wow. You got a lot on your plate. I don't envy that. I'm sure you're crushing it. You gonna be at Config in June? Somehow this got ported over as black. Should probably pull these in. Oh hell yeah! If the company's willing to sponsor for it, can you say no? I'll be there. All right. This left line should be the last one. Perfect. Are you originally from New York City? Or did you move there later in life? Gotta add that one. Gray 500, 75%. All right, cool. Never been. That was a little tricky. I feel like this one might be a little tricky too. How'd you stumble across this stream? Social media, Twitter? You just on Twitch often? Always interested to hear how people get here. Well, this is interesting. There's nothing in here. Posts? Okay, cool. Yeah. Ooh, look at that. They were all hidden under some iframe. Interesting. What's the name of this layer? How are you liking posts? I only recently started posting on there more frequently. heard that. I have an on and off relationship with social media in general. This is just like opaque background. Guess that is 500 tall. Flameless. Problem when they don't stick in their iframe is I don't get to retain the name of them, so I have to manually port this over. Ooh. Yeah. Let's do it. So I don't manage or design the marketing site for our company, Feather. I wish I had a little more involvement with that, but right out the gate, I mean, I love the cleanliness of this. I like how the headline kind of shifts and it's kind of rotating through a bunch of different options, different features that the app offers. Initial instinct on that color is it seems a little intense. I'm sure this, yeah, it's nice for contrast. Very nice for contrast. This seems a little bright. Product is nice and clean. Beautiful, beautiful product. Scrolling. I like the simplicity. It feels a little flat, but then I see certain elements like this gradient in the background behind that button and in other various areas that feels like it's potentially pulling in, not entirely skeuomorphism, but it's like it feels like it's heading in that direction. I wonder if you could potentially play around with adding a little more bubbliness and softness, maybe some more of that gradient and skeuomorphism throughout some other elements like these buttons. But yeah, I mean, overall, great work. Was this built in Webflow? Or no, you said Framer, didn't you? You said Framer. Yeah, this is nice. Good job. Recognize some of these brands here. Copilot, WAP, Bird Dogs. Awesome. What are there any designers online that you follow and kind of look to for inspiration? I feel like I'm getting so lost. What is this? That's mobile. So I got these backwards. Brian Levin, dude, classic. MP. Empty, wide empty, with background overlay. Oh, interesting. I see what's happening now. The guy who runs Faye, I'm not familiar with Faye. Unless I'm reading that wrong. Close button outside. Inside, wide. Stock market tracking apps. Okay. I've been designing for 15 years. I got into designing because I wanted to start an apparel brand. Did that for a couple years and didn't really kind of take off. But it was all like I also didn't like have any sort of like goals for that. It was just kind of like a fun project to kind of like get my bearings and understanding of design. And from there, I kind of got into some like traditional graphic design and was doing a lot of like brochures and pamphlets and cards and handouts and stuff like that. And it was probably about 10 years ago that I got into digital design. Started working with some agencies, got a lot of experience working with a bunch of different clients, left a lot of different brands. And then that kind of like eventually evolved and, took me down the journey of getting more into product side of design. So yeah, 15 years, past 10 years been in digital, and yeah, it's been a wild journey. How about you? How long you been designing? Nice. That's awesome. Great project form example. Do you have much of a design community up in New York? Any like network events or other designers in the community that you're able to kind of connect with, whether it's in person or online virtually? I know we live in such a virtual first world these days, so it's easy to kind of have a community without it being in person. I was just asking if you have any design community up in New York. I know that we live in a virtual first world these days when it comes to design and our jobs and all that. But I wondered if you had any in-person community or if it's most of it's online. Very cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Finding solid, talented designers to look up to can be so challenging sometimes. I feel like you either have a bunch of like juniors that are looking up to you, or a bunch of people that are like on your same level, which it's, you know, still helpful to learn from people that are on your same level, but sometimes it's nice just to get some feedback from some more experienced designers. Did you do any sort of boot camp or training to get you up to speed? I mean, based on looking at that marketing site, you know, and you said only been doing this for what, a year and a half? Like, man, props to you. Like, very talented. Love your style, and but yeah, I mean, where'd you start? I know what that's like. Around the time that I started that apparel brand, I was in school, and I went for 3 or 4 semesters, and I ended up dropping out. I was studying business management. It wasn't design or anything related. But obviously, you know, business management can help in the long run, especially if you end up doing freelance. I've done a lot of freelance in my career. But yeah, I'm very familiar with YouTube University. Actually, recently, last fall, ended up taking the UX research bootcamp with Memorize-ly, having, you know, mostly visual design experience over the past 15 years. Getting more into the research side of things was really cool, and to be able to take that bootcamp. It was cool. You did the Coursera Google X course. That was pretty much it. Yeah. Heard a lot of people do that one. That's weird. That X icon is just an X here, but then once it ripped over, it gave me this version. Yeah, the course was good. There were a couple people teaching it. One that had more experience teaching it. They had been with Memorize-ly for a few years. And the other one, I think it was their first class teaching, actually. And the one whose first time it was, when they led the class, I felt like they were reading a lot of the curriculum, which is like hard to justify the expense when you're paying for that boot camp. But overall, learned a lot of cool tips and tricks, especially with AI and ChatGPT and ways to analyze and synthesize data. Learned about products and tools to introduce to my team. We're not like using them regularly every day, but working on onboarding them and getting them familiar with the tools, be able to justify that monthly cost. Trying to convince the higher ups to implement some tools and features like that for some like usability tests and things like that. But I would say that if you're thinking about doing a course like that, I think regardless of anybody's experience, that it's very valuable to learn research side of things. You can always learn something new, and just being able to connect with other people in the industry, it's cool. They're entirely virtual meetups and classes, but I still liked connecting with those people and finding them on LinkedIn and following up with them. Memorize.ly has a Slack community, so we can kind of all like still stay connected and involved. So that's cool. Well, like I said, there's 15 developers, but a lot of them are either like on the support side, and I don't really work with many of the support side engineers. They might be back-end engineers, and then on the product team, a lot of them are back-end engineers too. And so literally the only front-end developers that I'm working directly with, there's 4. And so I'm kind of trying to improve that process and workflow. But I'll often, design my screens in a flow. And so, I'll take 5 or 6 screens and put them in a row. And I might use, auto flow to kind of like point to the different screens and connect actions to those screens. I also am using dev mode, and so when I'm kind of like speccing out maybe a component, net new component or something like that, like I'll come in here and start like leaving annotations and notes and things like that. But that's on the Figma side of things. But when there's no better collaboration than just hopping on a call and talking through some of these things. There's a senior front-end developer that I collaborate really closely with. She's also responsible for like scoping a lot of the front end tickets, and so those front end tickets get handed off to 3 of the other front end developers, and so we're kind of like going back and forth and working closely together on a daily basis. And sometimes we just hop on a call, an unscheduled call for maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours, what seems like almost every single day, just to kind of like attempt to make progress on, you know, all the various different features that we got working and are going on, so that that front end developer can continue scoping out future tickets that can be assigned to sprints, so that when that sprint happens and that work is assigned to those developers, they have everything they need. You know, that's not to say that some things won't kind of pop up in the middle of a sprint and I'll have to, you know, hop on a call or do some hot fix with some of the other developers, but we try to mitigate that as much as possible. But yeah, I mean, communication is key, especially on being a solo designer, a team of 1. You know, just try and make your presence known and know that you're ready and willing and available to kind of jump in and help out wherever necessary. You know, that adds a lot of value, and it shows your team willingness to kind of just jump in wherever necessary and participate. I'm not familiar with FlowKit. It sounds familiar, but is that another like flowchart plugin? We are, yeah. I'm in Tampa, Florida, actually. There's a lot of our team that is based in Gainesville, which is only a couple hours from where I'm at. I'm the only person on the product team that lives in Tampa. There's some other engineers that live out of state. But yeah, I mean, we're kind of all over the place. There's a solid crew of developers that live in the Gainesville area that kind of like regularly meet up, go to the office or go get drinks and stuff like that. I actually might be going up there this week to meet up with the team that's in town at least. We also have quarterly, like all hands, where the heads of the departments give updates for the previous quarter and upcoming quarter, and 2 of those, twice a year, the company pays for us to go up there for a week, and that's really great. Dan Magon posts. Hell yeah. I'll look out for you there. Subscribe to the channel if you want. Like I said, I do this once a day or so for an hour here and there. Love to get your thoughts and opinions on some of the stuff that I'm getting. I know right now it's not very exciting. But yeah, I'll find you on post, give you a follow, and maybe we'll be able to meet up at Config if you go there this summer. So it was great meeting you, Dan, and we'll talk soon.
Designed this speaker to amplify my thoughts so people will quit asking me for sandwiches. That should work, right?
I don't know what you're talking about, Space Ghost.
Go ahead,
My
Mohawk.
show was
You were sticks so you fell down. Remember?
You sure I didn't harness the power of the sun?
No, it's definitely sticks. Being with sticks.
All right, go get 'em. man.
Ow!
Ow! Not there!
Ow! Ow!
Are you still here?
Welcome to the program.
I'm sorry. I thought the show was over.
It started?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
All right, that's it for tonight. I'm gonna pack it up and head to bed. This was fun. Got through all of navigation and a couple sections from overlays. I'll pick up on notifications, overlays at some other point. I'm gonna go ahead and publish this, update the community file. So feel free to jump over there, figma.com/@AndyRyanWeir to get that, duplicate that file and start tinkering around. And if you like this, please smash that subscribe button, as much as it pains me to say that. It does wonders. Get more people listening and jumping in here. And yeah, till next time, we'll see ya. Take care. Have a good night.